Supreme Court delivers major gun rights victory in landmark Hawaii case. A major Supreme Court decision is reigniting one of America's most heated debates, gun rights versus gun control. In a ruling that could have nationwide implications, the United States Supreme Court has struck down a Hawaii law that required gun owners to obtain permission before carrying firearms onto most private properties open to the public. The decision marks another significant victory for Second Amendment advocates and another setback for supporters of stricter gun regulations. The court ruled 6-3 along ideological lines, with the conservative majority finding that Hawaii's law violated constitutional protections for gun owners. At the center of the case was a controversial policy adopted by Hawaii after the Supreme Court's landmark 2022 decision that expanded Americans' right to carry firearms outside the home. In response to that ruling, Hawaii and several other Democrat-led states, including California, Maryland, New York, and New Jersey, passed laws restricting where guns could be carried in public. Hawaii's approach was unique. Instead of allowing firearms unless property owners specifically prohibited them, the state reversed the standard. Gun owners were required to receive explicit permission before bringing firearms onto private property that was open to the public, including businesses such as restaurants, gas stations, convenience stores, barber shops, and laundromats. Supporters of gun rights labeled these policies vampire rules, comparing them to the famous Dracula story in which a vampire cannot enter a home without being invited inside. Writing for the majority, Justice Samuel Alito argued that the law imposed severe restrictions on the everyday activities of lawful gun owners. According to Alito, the policy effectively prevented many Americans from exercising what the Constitution protects, the right to carry firearms for self-defense while going about daily life. But the ruling immediately sparked strong opposition. The court's 3 liberal justices dissented. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson delivered a sharp criticism of the majority opinion, arguing that the court appeared more focused on protecting guns than applying legal principles consistently. The emotional divide reflected a broader national debate that continues to shape American politics. Supporters of the decision celebrated it as a victory for constitutional rights and individual freedoms. Many gun rights advocates argued that Hawaii's law made it nearly impossible for lawful citizens to carry firearms in public, despite previous Supreme Court rulings affirming that right. Meanwhile, gun control supporters expressed concern that the decision could weaken states' ability to address gun violence and protect public safety. Importantly, the ruling does not eliminate all firearm restrictions in Hawaii. The state's bans on carrying guns in certain sensitive locations, including schools, playgrounds, parks, and beaches, remain in place. The Supreme Court specifically focused on the requirement for property owners to provide explicit permission before firearms could be carried onto their premises. The case also highlights the growing influence of recent Supreme Court decisions on gun policy across America. Over the past several years, the court has expanded some gun rights protections while also upholding certain firearm regulations. As a result, legal battles over the Second Amendment are likely far from over. For millions of Americans, this ruling represents much more than a legal dispute. It touches on fundamental questions about constitutional rights, personal safety, private property rights, and the role of government. And as new challenges continue making their way through the courts, one thing is certain. The national debate over guns in America remains as intense, and as consequential, as ever. What do you think about the Supreme Court's decision? Should states have the authority to impose stricter gun restrictions, or does this ruling properly protect Second Amendment rights? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more breaking legal and political news from across the United States.